Here's my direct strike item tier list, so that you know what's really strong and what's dogshit, guys. We're starting with the Cloak of Flames. In my opinion, for sure, very good item. It's really underused in my opinion. I love to play this also, especially like on Paladin, because he just has a really high sustain with the Divine Shield. The Immolation Aura is just giving you really high damage against all like small HP units, also really good against summons. One of the best defense items is the Ring of Protection, guys. Definitely a very good item. It's especially good on Alchemist, for example, because it's starting with really low armor. But you also kind of have to keep in mind that you want to get the ring just once you got like 1000 HP, because then he's getting like the most value out. To get up the HP, you can get Gem of Health, for example. This gives you just really good raw stats, which is especially good in the early game to get just more HP to make your hero longer survivable. And if you play like a strength hero, you also can get the belt instead of the gem to just give him also just some good strength stats and also some more regen. One really good versatile item is also the spell Amulet. If your opponent plays something like stuns, coil, bolt or something else like this, then you really can just counter this really hard with this item. So situational, very strong. If you want to kind of mix it up a bit, then you can get on the Medallion of Courage, because this gives you not only strength but also some intelligence. So it's a really good item on heroes which are strength base. The pendant is definitely a very strong item, gives you for really cheap cost like really high mana. So this is a really good buy on every RG and strength hero which wants to cast more spells. If you are playing the intelligence heroes, then you want to buy the Robe of Magi actually, because this gives you not only damage on your hero, it's also giving you mana and also mana regen. So this is like a really good item for Farseer or for example for the Naga. If you prefer just to get like a bit more constant buffs, then you kind of go for the Zombie Mask and just get more mana regen. This is kind of weak in the early game, but gets better the more you are stacking with a hero. So for example, a Warden, which are stacking a lot, can benefit out of the Zombie Mask definitely more than out of the Pendant, because the longer your hero stays alive, the better the Zombie Mask gets and the worse the Pendant will be, because Pendant is better if your hero dies early, and Zombie Mask is better if your hero stacks like 3, 4, 5 times and more. So this is a really good late game Warden item. If you want to make your hero more tanky, you also can give them basically evasion. Evasion is very strong, but also only a late game item, because you want at least 1300 HP on your hero before you give him this item, because then it's getting the most value. Before this HP, Ring of Protection or Gem of Health is way better. So this item is really good also on all frontline strength heroes. So talking also of some Warden items, like the Warden also benefits pretty much very nicely about Ring of Regen. It is very situational though. Like if you have like a healing ward or a statue, then you don't need the Ring of Regen. But if you don't have this on your draft, then the Ring of Regen on the Warden is pretty good, because he needs just some regen, because he stays alive so long. And then it's the same as with the Zombie Mask. The longer you stay alive, the more you get out of this item here, but I would not play it on other heroes than the Warden, guys. The Rune Braces, I think, is pretty dog shit. Like, it's giving you magic resistance, but the problem is the most armies are really mixed on magic, spell, and physical damage, so this will not really do much, basically, so you should really not play this, guys. Talking of some other dog shit items, guys, like Gem of Health is definitely dog shit here, because in the current meta, Invis is not a thing, so this is complete useless. Also, in this game mode we're playing here on Direct Strike, actually the bottom items here are really not doing much. So this is something you should never buy on any heroes. It is just not doing enough for their cost, and you're also blocking like your item slots, which you cannot use then for the good items. So please don't buy this in the current patch, guys. That's like really not what you want to spend your money on. Coming like to the most popular orbs now, guys. So Orb of Venom is something that people playing like pretty hardcore. I think the orb is pretty strong, but not broken. And yes, Orb of Venom is good, guys. It's a good orb. You can play it. I personally prefer the Orb of Corruption over it, but it is also depending a bit on your playstyle, and I will shortly explain why. So the Orb of Venom is dealing 20 damage per second. And this is really good if you are fighting early melee heroes or mid to late game big tank units like siege tanks or MGs, because this deals damage over time. That means the longer the enemy you attack with it stays alive, the more damage it will deal. But this also means that if you kill people fast, if you one-shot just your opponent units, then this does nothing, because then you get no value out of the overtime effect. And because you want to kill your opponent as fast as you can, I prefer the Orb of Corruption a lot more, because this gives me really instant damage, because it gives me -5 armor, and then I can one-shot more enemies, and it also enhances my whole army. Like, imagine there's an MK coming to you. MK really tanky, high HP, and he's like the big tank in front. And then you give him -5 armor. That means not only your hero, but also your whole army is dealing 30% more damage to this unit. And this makes the opponent tank die way quicker than if you would just deal 20 damage per second. So I really think Orb of Corruption is better. What is not fun to play, guys, is the Lightning Orb, Orb of Slow. They are really bad. I think in the current meta, Orb of Darkness is kind of only a decent orb, I feel like. Like, especially on higher MMR, the orb is like really kind of sucking dick. On lower MMR, it's kind of a bit better. But I feel like it's kind of hard to fit this in because it's quite expensive. And the most people nowadays know how to counter it. So it is only good if your opponent has no dispel. And even then, it's like not giga crazy. And the Orb of Fire, guys. Even after the buff, I think the Orb of Fire is not really great. Like, you don't want to buy this in the early game. Why? Because it deals just 7+ damage. The AoE splash effect is doing not enough in my opinion. And 150 gold is just way worse than 1 grunt. 1 grunt is like 10 times better than this orb. So you would not play this over another unit. And the only use for it is to give like your second or third hero a range attack to stay a bit longer alive. Like, the best orb by far is the drums, because it's giving your whole army non-conditionally 10% more damage. That's like by far the best. If you play a lot of ranged units actually, then also the flute is like really good, because it's giving all your ranged guys 10% more damage, which is like a lot in the mid to late game. If you play like a lot of frontline units, a lot of melee units, and you don't have already Vamp Aura, then the 20% Vamp's Aura steal, life steal is like really strong. So that's really, really good also. I think Endurance is like too expensive for what it does. The Legion Horn is complete useless, because 1.5 armor in the late game does nothing. The Tempo Auras are kinda okay, but you don't want to buy them before you have the good auras. And usually the games don't last long enough to actually buy these ones on top of these ones. So that's why I think I'm rating them bad here. So I think it's kind of a bit overkill and you don't need this. And that's why I will actually rate this here bad, guys. Subscribe if you want to climb faster in Direct Strike. Thanks, guys.